Hey, I guess I'm live. This is actually my first live. I could be doing this wrong. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing, but I want to talk about some music and some other stuff, and I'm going to see if I can actually get my friend in here to do this with me. I was going to start at 1:30, but I think I'm a little bit early, but I have no idea how to actually get this working. Hopefully, I can add somebody to it, but I don't know how to do it. That's all right though. If you're not catching this live, which looks like nobody's here yet, which I understand, you can catch it later. I'm gonna put this on my channel. But basically, I just want to talk about a few things. Like somebody asked me before about modal harmony, so I'll try to do that. Get that question answered. I want to talk about some of the stuff at NAM. I guess that's about a month old now, but I want to talk about some of it, some albums that are coming up, and maybe some synth stuff too. So let me know if you come in the comments if there's anything you want to talk about, and we'll do that. Let's see what I can do here. This arrow, share it. Also, tell me if this is too loud or too soft, so I can change that. It's not giving me too many options here for adding someone. Maybe I did that wrong. Well, anyways, I hope it's okay. So I guess I should get started. And the first thing I thought I'd talk about is modal harmony. So somebody asked me about this, and they asked me like, how do you like mix modes or do that other stuff? And one of the ways to do it is by using a chart like this. So hopefully this comes up here. I have this. Hopefully this doesn't look backwards. On my screen, it actually looks backwards, which I didn't realize. But hopefully you can read this. So you see here you have like Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. And so if you want to do like mode mixing or modal interchange, all you have to do is whichever mode you're using. So if you're in a major key, it's same as the Ionian mode. All you have to do is just take one of these chords from the other modes and substitute it in there. So for example, if I'm in the Ionian mode, I might take this flat 3 major from Dorian and put that in my chord progression. Or I might take the flat 7 from Mixolydian and put it in there. And of course, some of these are going to sound terrible, so they're not going to work. But some of them do sound good, and they can give you all sorts of new ideas. Usually, you're going to be starting in like a major key, so like Ionian, and then use one of these other ones. But you can do some of the other ones like Aeolian, and then take one from Ionian or Phrygian, etc. This is also good if you're doing like almost modal harmony, so it's like a Mixolydian type jam, and then you add in another chord in there. And it's actually one of my favorite things when it comes to harmony because it just gives you that little like ear tweaking, ah, and it makes things more interesting, and it just sounds good. If you don't want to go so crazy where it sounds dissonant, but you just want that little spice in there. So let me see if I can give you an example. Let me pull up my acoustic guitar here quickly. So I have my acoustic here, and I think I probably did this in a video also. So we have like a chord progression like a Daft Punk song. So it starts like this, right? So you have E minor 7, 9. Then I have the D flat minor 7. Then I have C major 7. Then D sus. And so this is just a basic minor progression. It's easier. I'll just take out all the seventh chord stuff, move it from E minor to C minor, so it's just easier to understand. So let's just hear as basic as we can make it. So in C, it would be C minor 7. Then it goes down to A minor 7, or A minor, sorry. So C minor, A minor, then A flat major, then B flat major, like that. And so the way this like relates to modal things is C minor 7. This is in C minor, of course. The A minor, you're thinking, where does that come from? That actually comes from C major. So it's taking one of the chords from the Ionian. So in this case, this and putting it into the C minor, and then it goes back into that C minor again, like that, or moving back to E minor 7 like this, like that. So that's an example, or I'll give you like another quick example. Let's say if we did like a C major example. So a common C major chord progression would be like this: C, F, G, C. So you do that like a bunch of times. There's lots of songs like Twist and Shout. A bunch of old songs do this. But let's say we do this: C, F, G. Let's go back to F. Now F minor. Now went back to C. So there we go. And so basically, you're thinking, where did that F minor come from? And the F minor comes from C minor. So instead of just doing C major all the time, this chord, the F minor, I just stole it from the Aeolian here, 4 minor. So that's the deal with like modal harmony and modal mixing. I'll give you like one more example. So if we're in the key, let's do a real example. So jazz song like When Sunny Gets Blue. So it's a really interesting song, and it starts with G minor, 7, C7, does some other stuff, and then F, G, A. So all of that is in F major. But what they do in the second bar is really interesting. They use some modal mixing. So it goes. So instead of directly to F, it adds a B minor 7 and then E7 or E flat 7. So now I'm in F, and here's the modal interchange. Now I've come back right to F. Okay, so that's basically what you're doing with modal interchange. It's fairly easy, I think. So hopefully that explained this for whoever asked that. Hopefully you actually are listening to this. But let's get into some other stuff. I'm surprised somebody else is actually watching this. So if you're in the comments, yeah, you can leave me a question if you want to talk about something. I thought I'd talk about like the NAM show that happened last month, and I was like, okay, what was going on with that? I wanted, I was hoping something really interesting would come to the NAM show, but I thought lots of it was kind of boring. There was some cool stuff like with the IRs and the amps. That was really cool. Like they're now incorporating those together. I think Boss came out with something where it's almost like a load box that will take your amp signal and convert it down and then put an IR in it, which is really useful if you're playing live or if you're just like recording so you can play in your house at low volumes or you can take it someplace and use a small cab and then send the rest out to the house. So I think those solutions are actually really good. I'm surprised amp manufacturers finally got on that, but it's about time. Other things I saw there were not so good. Like somebody, please tell Ibanez to stop with the different tube screamers. We don't need any more tube screamers. There's what like 100 different rip-off tube screamers, and there's probably 50 different variations of real tube screamers. And I say this as someone who likes tube screamers, but there's enough of them. They made some sparkling red version, and I was like, okay, it looks nice, but I think it was like 200 something dollars, like $230. I was like, I don't need a $230 tube screamer to be honest. So for me, it's just like it's too much. I don't need a $230 tube screamer. And they did another one with like Vimram, I think a Japanese company, and it looked nice. I like the like metallic design, but also I'm just like, don't need that. What's the point? I think that maybe they did something else. They said like, oh, it's more like open or something, but I was like, I don't need it. Let me see what else. One thing I did think was good. I like what Marshall did with the new amps. I think they have like lower wattage versions. I think 20 watts or something, and they did like the JMC 800 20 watt, uh, the Plexi 20 watt, and what was it Jubilee? I actually like that because they're taking like the old designs that people liked and making smaller versions. It, I'm not a huge Marshall fan, but of course it's like classics. So some of them I like, and I like they're making these lower wattage versions of these classics that sound good instead of trying to make something new that doesn't sound good. I know some people like them, but I really hate those JMC 900s and 2000s. So I don't need those. I'd rather have like a Plexi, especially low wattage like that. I think that's the way to go. And the one they did last year, the Origins, I think those were actually pretty good. When I heard those, I was like, oh, those actually sound nice. So I don't know. Marshall seems like they kind of turned themselves around, at least in my eyes. I think they came up with some new interesting stuff. So thumbs up to Marshall. I think they did good work this year. Impressive. Other ones, I saw someone made like a spring reverb pedal, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't know why nobody ever thought about that now. Instead of trying to fake a spring reverb, they actually put a spring reverb, a real spring reverb in a pedal. So I was like, I don't know how it sounds, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Other things I saw were Ibanez guitars. I think they did really good job. I saw the new Axion models. I think looked really nice. They're kind of like metallic, so I was like, yeah, that's cool. Let me see. And Electro Harmonics pedals. They had like some synth pedals, which I thought were really cool. So Electro Harmonics, maybe the last 10 years or so, they've been like really going hard with these like stomp boxes that are creative. I actually like what they're doing. I like the rotating speaker stuff, the organ simulator stuff, the synth simulator stuff. So I think they don't really get enough credit, but actually what they're doing is fairly unique. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I don't even own any, but I'd like to own some. I think they've been doing really good stuff. Kind of like a sleeper. People don't talk about them that often, I feel, but I think they actually do lots of good work and innovative stuff. They're not just copying a tube screamer and then charging $300 for it. So I don't know, but I want to try it. I know sometimes they don't work so well, and I kind of dislike how they can't do polyphonic stuff, but that's not really their fault. It's more like the fault of the guitar itself. So, but I think overall, thumbs up to Electro Harmonics too. Uh, Companies that don't get a thumbs up. What is EVH doing with that guitar? I saw that like EVH guitar that looks like a shark, and I'm like, what is going on with this? I was like, oh. So they took an EVH guitar and they made this crazy design, and I don't know who it's for. It's it's one of those things like, okay, you have this crazy design and it's similar to what Van Halen actually used, but not really. And then they charge a lot of money for it, and it doesn't seem that practical to use. So it's not like signature, like, oh, this is what he's using. It's like this is similar to what he almost used. It's kind of the same idea, but he didn't really use it. And so I don't know who the market for this is. So I was just like, yeah, no. Let me see other ones. Fender, they're the alternate reality. Leave those in the alternate reality, please. I don't want to see those again. It looks like basically somebody took like Photoshop and just photoshopped a bunch of Fender guitars and then made that into a real guitar. So I didn't like any of those personally, but maybe you feel different. But I didn't think any of those were that interesting. I don't know. From what I saw, from what I'm hearing, people kind of had mixed feelings about Gibson. Also, as you've seen on my channel, I don't really have any love for Gibson just because they kind of like screwed everything up last year as far as Cakewalk goes. I used to use Sonar all the time, but then they dropped the ball on that. And then last year they didn't even go to Nam. They came out with some guitar that looked like a com on Star Trek, and I was like, what is this? Just garbage. This year it seems like they've gone back to their roots, but it's just boring. It looks expensive and boring to me. I don't know, but I guess it's better than them putting tuners and doing a bunch of things people don't like. So hopefully this is a return to like high quality instruments. The price hasn't gone down, so I hope the quality is at least gone up. We'll see though. Yeah, if you're watching this and you want to chat and there's something you want me to talk about, leave it over there. I'll probably talk about some other things. Do a few more minutes about guitar stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else there. I think for the Kimber modeling amp, they had some new cabinet, and, and normally I'd be like, I don't really care about a guitar cabinet, but apparently this one is cool because it will let you like almost change the IRs in the cabinet, or actually, well, it doesn't change the IRs, but it lets the IR come through while sounding like a cabinet. I don't know. I haven't used it, so I don't know how well it works. And I know Celestion was working on something similar to this. They have like a new speaker that you can put in any guitar cab, and then you can use this to play like a modular with impulse responses. And so the sound of the impulse response will come through the guitar cab without sounding muffled or terrible like it normally does. So I was like, this is actually really good. And supposedly it actually sounds like, or not sounds, but feels like an actual guitar amp, which I was like, this sounds amazing. But it seems like Celestion kind of dropped the ball. They announced it last year, and then like I haven't heard anything about it since. It just kind of like flew away someplace. I've heard like online some people are like, "Oh, I got one. It's really good," and another person's like, "Yeah, I'm waiting for mine." And then Celestion doesn't say anything about it. I'm like, what's going on? What happened to your products? So I would be interested in actually having that because I have some amps here, and I'd be willing to swap the speakers in one room. Actually, I'd probably just buy a cheap amp and throw it in there and use it for like amp modeling and things. But I don't know. I don't know what Celestion's doing. They should have shown that off. I think they could get lots of sales from that. But what do I know? Let's see. Next order of business. Yeah, the other companies, I don't think they really showed off too much. It was a little bit boring. Like Line 6, I don't think they had too much. I think it's just like a wireless stuff. And I was like, who cares? Yamaha, I didn't really see anything too interesting. Eh. You see, Kessel, I saw some of the Kessel guitar models, and I thought those looked really cool. They always look cool. My friend actually showed me one. It looked like it was clear, and then like half of it was clear, it had like acrylic mixed with wood. And I was like, it looked really beautiful, but I think like the price was just ridiculously expensive. So I don't know. Actually, I was trying to get my friend on here, but I don't know exactly how to do it. Maybe next time I do a live stream, I'll try to get him in there. So it's not just me ranting by myself. And I have to excuse myself, or excuse me, please, because today I'm not feeling so good. I'm a little bit under the weather. And I was going to do this last week, and then I was going to do the week before, but something always came up. And then this week I was like, okay, I got to do it this week. And then I got sick. So I probably won't be streaming for too long, maybe 30 minutes or an hour. But if you like this, I might do one later this week because I have free time this week. So I might do another live stream later. Uh, next order of business. Oh, I should talk about this also. One thing, I couldn't even believe this. Apparently, Ingve Malmsteen is coming out with a blues album. And I was like, what? Ingve Malmsteen blues album. So I couldn't believe it either. Go online. He has like the video out, and he's singing and playing blues. And so I was like, the playing blues is almost unbelievable enough. Although I've heard him do it before, he does do this like on G3 and other places. And I think he did it on that album where he did covers. But I couldn't believe he was actually doing it for a whole album, and he's singing too. Which, to be honest, like, don't sing Ingve. Just stick to playing guitar. It's not even so much like his pitch is bad or something. It's just like he has an accent, and like, I live in another country. I live in Japan, so like I'm not bagging on him for the accent. But to be honest, it's just hard to understand what he's saying. And also, Ingve is like the opposite of blues. To be honest, like I don't know what his blues are. It's like he's like, okay, I grew up in Sweden, and then I practiced a lot, and then I came to America, and I got rich. Now I have lots of money, and I have everything I wanted. The get everything you wanted blues. So I guess that's it. I really don't know what he's talking about in the album. The first one is like he's talking about driving around in his Ferrari with the top down, which is interesting, but not really what I think about when I think of a blues song. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. Maybe the rest of the album is different. Apparently, he's doing covers of Hendrix songs too, which I think that could be cool. I think he did one of those before, and I liked it. So who knows? Uh, Let me see. And maybe I should do one more thing here. I'll probably cut off at maybe 30 minutes. So basically, what I want to talk about the rest of the time is something I'm working on. I'll try to do a video of it next week or so. And basically, I'm working on like some presets for a new synth, which I think if you're synthesis fans, you'll probably find interesting and you'll get into. So what the deal is, it's a Melder production synth. So I know if you see my channel, I do like lots of videos on Melder production stuff, especially Empower synth. So it's that, but more. So you're probably thinking, like, hey, Empower synth is really powerful, but this is twice as powerful. It can do stuff that I didn't even know synths could do this. Sorry about that. Um, and so it has all these new features and things like that. And normally I wait till something is already out and then try to go in there and do it. But like this, I thought like there's no way I can do it because like if I tried to show every feature of it, it'd take like 4 hours like to do the video for it. It has too many features. So what I'll probably do is just go over it, you know, one video showing like one feature a week or so, and kind of use it as a way to show you how to use it and kind of give a preview at the same time. If you have any questions about it, let me know when I'm doing it, and I'll try to answer them. I might try to answer them in this video, maybe the next live stream. If you have any questions about it, I'll try to answer those. But it has lots of cool features, specifically when it comes to physical modeling. So I love physical modeling synthesis. Uh, because there's not so many that can do it, and it sounds more natural. Of course, it can't always replace samples and things like that, but it it just feels better when you're playing it on like a keyboard or something, and it doesn't sound as static. It's just better. Um, in general, sometimes it doesn't sound as good, but of course, it depends on what you're doing. And the thing is, there's not so many other companies doing it, and I don't know why, to be honest. I'm trying to think who does physical modeling synthesis. AAS, so Advanced Acoustic Systems. They make Chromophone and String Studio. They make really good stuff. I actually like their stuff. So I own Chromophone. I own String Studio. I own Lounge Lizard, the electric piano, and I don't own the guitar ones, but I'm a guitarist, so it's like, why would I buy that? And I don't own the analog synth one, but they make really good stuff. And I was really disappointed because last year they got rid of Tasman, which was like a modular physical synthesis, power software powerhouse. And they made it sound like this is really unique. There's nothing like this. This is great. It makes interesting sounds. And then there's like, we don't feel like updating it. Gone. So I was really disappointed. But luckily, new Meldasynth actually has a lots of the same features where you can make all sorts of different things. It's actually much more powerful than Tasman because there's more things you can do with it. Um, I can't even go all over all of it. I'll try to answer that later about all the things it can do and try to show you what it can do. But there's so many things and there's so many like interesting possibilities. And it's not all physical modeling synthesis either. It's not just like, oh, it's just making like fake string sounds and things like that. You can make analog style sounds. It can do wave tables, all sorts of stuff. In the future, I think it'll get, or actually, I know it will get samples and granular synthesis and spectral synthesis and pretty much anything you could want. Any type of synthesis I can think of, it can either do or it will be able to do sometime in the future, sometime in the near future, I imagine. So it's really cool. And if you have any questions about it, definitely let me know. I'll try to show you and give you like a preview of what exactly it can do. But I don't know. Think other synthesizers coming out. I saw, was it Pigments, the one by Arturia? I actually like that where it can do all like the wavetable stuff. That one's really cool. I really like the visual aspect of it, and the sound is not bad either. But I think they really killed it when it comes to like the visuals. One of the things I liked about it when I saw it, I was like, wow, it's just makes me want to look at it. I didn't buy it, but it made me want to actually, listen and actually want to play with it, even though I haven't yet. Let me think of another one. What else has come out recently? Recently, there's been like a lots of these that came out. Like Dune 3 came out, which I thought sounded good, but I've never been like a huge fan of Dune. But from what I heard, it sounded good. It's just one of those things. Like personally, I don't need it. It just has a bunch of layers, and for me, it's not super interesting. But for other people, I can understand why it would be, and it's kind of a cool synth. It sounds good at least. The other ones, what is going on with Massive X? I don't understand this. Like, Massive is like one of the most iconic soft synths of all time, and it's been out for like over 10 years now. And then they announced like Massive X, and I was like, okay, this is gonna come out soon. And I thought it was gonna come out last year, the end of last year, and it's not out yet. And there's not any more info about it. And I'm like, what's going on with Massive X? I don't know. So hopefully that'll come out soon, and hopefully it'll be interesting. But I'm just kind of thinking like, what's going on with Massive X? Uh, Hopefully they do something with that, and hopefully it's interesting. But we'll see. And I don't know. It seems like almost like soft synth is almost oversaturated in a way. I love wavetable synths, but everybody's doing wavetable synths now, and I really don't know why. I guess they're popular, but like there's other types of synthesis. Why is nobody doing like spectral synthesis, or why are there fewer like granular synthesis? Well, I guess it's the type of music. You can't use granular synthesis for like types of music that are famous or popular now. But still, come on, like I want something new and interesting. I don't know. Maybe that's just me though. So maybe there's not a market for more interesting types of synthesis, but we'll see. Also, I'll probably take requests when it comes to make when I'm talking about the Melda synth. Since I have to make like presets and a bunch of other things, if there's something you want, let me know, and I might try to incorporate it and make it. If you have a good idea, if it's something crazy, I'm not going to do it. But if it's something simple and something I can do, I will try to do it. Also, if you want me to talk about something else in the future in the live streams, leave it below if you're not watching now. It looks like I have about two people watching now, but in the future, if you want me to do this, I might do like a Q&A for something like this. And also in the future, like I said, once I figure out how to do it, I'll do this with a friend of mine and we'll talk back and forth. So it's not just me ranting for an hour or so. And on top of that, in the future on this channel, what I want to do is create like backing tracks so I can play over it and then give you the backing track so you can play over it and create kind of community thing where everyone's playing, having fun, producing music, enjoying ourselves, talking about guitars, synthesizers, and a bunch of other fun stuff. So keep in mind, I want to do that in the future. I wanted to get to it last month, but I didn't do it. I probably can't get to it this month, but who knows? Next month, maybe. But I'm going back to America next month, at the end of next month. So I don't know if I'll have time. So those that don't know, I live in Japan. So I'm gonna be in America for about 2 weeks next month. So I don't know if I'll have time to do it, but if I do, I will. I'll try to get that started. And tell me how you want to do this. I was thinking either A, I can put the like backing track on YouTube and you can just play over it there, or I was thinking about doing it on was it BandLab. On BandLab, they have lots of good features where you can put like a backing track or anything on there, and then people can play over it, and then you can share it, and it shows you like how all of them are linked. So you could just look at the original backing track, and then you could find the playing of every single person who played over it, which is a really good feature. Unfortunately, not that many people use BandLab, so I don't know if people want to move over just to use BandLab. If they do, I can do that. But if people are like, no, I don't, I don't want to sign up for BandLab just to do that. I won't bother. So let me know down in the comments if you're interested in that at all. If nobody's interested in playing over backing tracks, I'm not doing it. I don't have time for that. But if people are interested, I'll do it. So that's it for today. I'm feeling a little bit hot and sick. So I hope you like this. I'll try to do these in the future, and I'll try to get a better time for everyone so I can get more people to watch this. Maybe one of those things like this just isn't a good time, and people won't be able to watch it live, but I might still do it so people can watch it at their own convenience. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, and until next time, see you.